Buenas and half a day, everyone. My name is Kiana Joy from Famalao'an Rights. This is Famalao'an Talks, and for the month of February, we are celebrating all of the stunning, gorgeous, amazing women in the fields of STEM, that being, of course, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So February 11th is the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. It was designated this 5 years ago by the United Nations, and I have a very special guest with me that I'm going to have her introduce herself right now. Go ahead.
Hi, buenas and half a day, everyone. My name is Jessica Fernandez. I am a woman in STEM. I'm a program associate for Navigating Home. It's basically a grant that brings back locals back home, and it mitigates the brain drain phenomenon.
So kind of just jumping right into this. So you are a biologist.
Yes. My background is in marine biology. That's where I've done most of my research in.
Okay.
I went to school here at UOG. I got the merit scholarship. So I was actually
I had that too.
Oh,
I got it too.
No,
yeah.
sick. Because I was actually supposed to go off island. And I was so excited to go off island.
Same.
And then I got the merit scholarship. And then in my heart, I wanted to be out there. But then mentally, I knew that I was like, man, you're not gonna pay for school, so just just stay.
Yeah.
I was in between business and biology, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do bio, because bio it's just hard.
Yeah.
Whatever, right?
Yeah.
To get in the classes and everything. So I went into bio. I didn't really do anything until probably later on, because I was a pre-med. Everyone goes on as pre-med.
I was a nursing major at first.
See, that's what I'm saying. They really suck you in. My mom is a tiger mom, and she was like, you need to be a doctor.
It's a canon event.
No, yeah.
I
say that all the time.
I say that all the
time. And then if you talk to any biology major, they literally start out as a pre-med, unless they're really cool and then they got experiences when they were little and they always wanted to be a marine
They're like, oh, I always loved insects.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
no, you didn't.
I never had that experience, And then I did this program, internship program. It's called EBSCOR, the Student Research Experience. I did it, and I was doing population genetics and corals.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But I didn't know. I just this is kind of bad, but I did it to fill up my resume. I didn't know how much it would have impacted me. Then I did a cancer research thing in the summer, and then when I went to SACNIS, it's this huge diversity conference that primarily focuses on STEM. And I went there. It was in Hawaii, and then there's these native elders talking about restorative justice, and I was like, yeah, this resonates more with me. I want to help the planet more than help the people.
Yeah,
as a doctor.
Thank you so much for talking about kind of how you get into it. And because the problem that we're seeing, obviously we're celebrating now women and girls in STEM, is that there's not many of them.
No.
So one of the challenges that we kind of face is how to get more women into these spaces, because when any field is dominated by a certain group, the vision of it becomes so narrow.
Oh, for sure. It's so funny because when I saw that as a question or a talking point, it's so bad because I've talked to all of my female peers in STEM, and then collectively, not for everyone, just the people I've talked to, they've kind of said the same thing, where we don't pay mind to it. And I guess we're very fortunate to be on Guam, where they primarily focus on diversity. So I work with UOGC grants, so we have a lot of internships. So I mentioned the EBSCOR SRE includes, and that is a student research experience as well for the whole year. And we kind of want to focus on those not really represented within the STEM field. If you're a female, indigenous, Chamorro, or even Filipino, Southeast Asian, all that stuff, even just non-binary, how you represent yourself. So I like to say that I'm a minority boonie.
Yeah.
I'm Asian, I am Chamorro, I am female. My parents are, what's that called? First generation.
Right.
Or I'm a
Immigrants.
first generation. Oh, not immigrant.
Second generation.
Oh, my mom's an alien though.
Oh, is she?
Green card.
Okay.
Yes. yeah. People always say that, but it's okay. We'll get that.
Yeah. something that I thank you for pointing out too, is when there are women in these fields, in biology, in math, and engineering, they're typically not women of color.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's so important too.
Yeah, because I think it really is important to have someone to look up to. Like you want to see like a people of your image. You know? Like
of course.
It's kind of hard to find tomorrow STEM. There are women in STEM, but I think the individual I would have to kind of look up to the most is Dr. Romina King. Have you heard of her? She's like the director of NASA EPSCoR. She does a lot of cool work in drone work. Have you heard of the Drone Corps?
I have.
Yeah. I know it's sick. But then I like told her my story, and I was looking for a new advisor at the time, and she was like really like inspirational, and she really helped me through it. Like she was just like, no, you're almost there, girl. Like us women have to stick together, and it was just so moving just because her experience as a woman in STEM is so different from mine, because for her, she really had to kind of go along this path with like a lot of cis hetero men. Right. But for me, I am just so fortunate to have these programs that kind of want me. They want someone that looks like me.
Yeah.
And it's just so nice. Like I'm so fortunate. I'm so fortunate.
Yeah, of course. So, now you are in STEM. You are.
Yeah, and I would love to be like a mentor for students who are kind of like looking to pursue marine biology, environmental science, climate, or like, if they're interested in like climate change or whatever, it's I would just love to help them, like kind of like guide them along this path, because it is really scary. But the thing about it is you have to just want to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's so important too, that you're kind of mentioning like that you want to kind of like usher in like a new generation. Because, like obviously we're so grateful to have you in that field. You do so much for our community, but what's also very vital is that we kind of pass this down to the next generation of girls. We want like girls to like be in school and be like, oh my God, like I want to be like Jess. Like,
oh yeah, but that's too much pressure. Oh no.
I know that's a lot of pressure.
I feel so much, but like, it really is nice, because like, when we go to these conferences, like the SACNAS conference, most especially, that's a really important conference. If you want to be in STEM, you need to go to the SACNAS conference. It's not super easy to get into. Just apply. Yeah. Just kind of apply to get into. If you have research, just put your abstract in, submit it, or you could apply for travel scholarship. It's an amazing conference. When I went,
what is it called? What is like the full name for it?
It is, SACNA stands for the Society for Advancement of Chicanos/Hispanics and Native Americans in Science. So it initially started out as a Chicanos and Native American conference, but this was like started in the States, and now it has opened up so much to just a diverse array of people. When I went and I was accepted into this conference, I didn't know what to do. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to dress super nice. I have to hide my tattoos. Like, I'm like gay. I'm a female. I'm a
Hiding tattoos is such a big thing.
No, it's
like yeah, exactly. No, yes. I have a tattoo on my hand. Like, every time I go somewhere, just like to be safe, I like cover it up.
No, it's like this thing, but like, this new generation coming in, they don't have to think like that.
Yeah, and then
they see like people with like face tattoos, and I'm just like,
and they're like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm getting nervous. But this conference, I didn't know what I was signing up for, but once I walked in, there was people with tattoos everywhere, like on their face, there's piercings and everything. I'm like, okay. And I see so many females. Like, majority of that conference is people of color. Like, there are
love it.
No, it's crazy. And I encourage like any student pursuing STEM just to go. It's amazing. And it felt like Disneyland, because they're giving out these like
candy.
Candy, but fee waivers for like if they want to apply to grad school. So like grad school, when you apply to grad school, some people will apply for 10, and each of them could be like $90. $90.
Oh, yeah, that's
So, like,
$900.
Yeah, and you don't even know if you're gonna get in.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
crazy. Capitalism, so wild.
Freaking crazy.
Oh.
So, like, you know, UOG is I'm gonna tell you right now, UOG is a very good biology program. Although we don't have like the equipment, if you want to pursue like terrestrial science, marine science, like it's a really good school. It also has really good school for if you want to prepare for a medical school. Although we don't have like the research, everyone, I'm telling you, especially if you're on Guam, everyone wants you. Everyone wants you, no matter what. Even if you can't say that you're a Pacific Islander, you can say you're geographically disadvantaged. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like,
we always say, like, use your brownness.
Yeah.
We
I'm
always.
not that brown. But to my grandma, my very Japanese grandma, I am so brown. Actually, my grandma doesn't know I have tattoos. Every time I see her, I'm, like, always in, like, dressed up, like, in
like
sleeves. Long sleeves.
Yeah,
and I visit her in the winter. No, I can't. She'll die. She'll die. I'm off the will. Well, we don't really have anything else.
Okay,
sorry.
Let's transition a little bit. I wanted to ask you, how long have you been in the field, first of all?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question.
Couple years.
I graduated in 2020, but my first research experience was in 2019.
Okay.
I went into the master's program in biology, studying population genetics and corals as well. But then I think I was just so burnt out with what like 2020 was like doing to like everyone. I signed up for a lot of internships, and every time I would sign up, they would cancel it. Like it would have been, it was just like too much. So then I was really getting unmotivated. I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I took a break. So I took a 2-year break. During that 2-year, I kind of transitioned over to the back end of grants, and I was doing an internship at Inclus to help with like student programming, everything. I did so well. No, I'm kidding.
Congratulations.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Now I'm a program manager for NSF Navigating Home. So it would be like 2019. What is that?
So you're going on like 5 years.
Almost 5 years. And I just recently got accepted back into the master's program. So I'm going to go back in.
That is so great.
It's going to be hard. Thank you. I'm
happy for you, and I am also like rooting for you. Because I know that is a challenge.
It is going to be a challenge.
Yeah. Going to school is always a challenge. So you've been in your field for 5 years. Like, generally, like, what is it like for you? Like, how do you feel? You know, like, I think when you think of women in STEM, generally people imagine this, like, really big, like, boss lady, like, trampling.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just kind of the vision every had. But, like, what is it like for you?
That's a good question, just because, you know, like sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you don't really you don't grasp how this representation is put on you, I guess. Like, you know, like just even saying, oh, I study genetics and corals, people are gonna be like,
I would be like, oh my God, that is crazy.
And not gonna lie, I rarely ever wore the lab coat. I rarely, and I would go in there in my flip-flops, just like flip-flops, because, you know, they say sandal stories, whatever. I'm just doing my shit, and, like, at the time, I'm just like, oh, yeah, this is what I'm doing. But then, you know, when you say it to another person, it's just like, whoa. But I guess my experience, it's a very rewarding experience. I love it. I love everything about it. And I think I'm really happy with what I'm doing now in terms of providing opportunities for people to come back, or providing opportunities for students and stuff. But in terms of really getting in the nitty-gritty of science, it's amazing, honestly, especially helping. If I were to help my friends do sampling for their project, it really is pretty cool, honestly. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
When you're like, obviously when you're like in the field itself, it's not something that you think about often.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm not answering your questions very well. It's just like, I just don't really think about it.
No, this is like what it's for though, you know? Me personally, I have a very strong opinion about women and girls in STEM. And that opinion is, I just think they're so lovely. Every woman that I have met who is in the field of STEM is just like, first of all, she is great at what she does. Like, they are always so smart. Mm-hmm. 2, they are like so down to earth, and like they just warm your heart. And like lastly, like they just like exude such confidence and like.
Oh yeah, I could definitely say that about all of my peers. Like, you know, we really are there for each other. If you needed help, they will give it to you and stuff. But man, honestly, I hate to kind of ruin your image, but some of them are mean.
I figured.
Some of them are mean. I mean, like, in any life, there are women that are mean. The one that are like kind of like anti-women, like, you know, those people. Those, you know.
And that is why it's so important that we fill these spaces with people who are not like that.
Yeah, no, it's super important. But like, you know, it's kind of hard because I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not gonna talk about that.
Get into it.
Like,
we'll cut it if we have to. Get into it.
You know, there are just like some women who, this is no one specific actually. It's just like, you know, if I'm thinking out loud here. But like, you know, I can see how if some women are like, you know, it's a male dominated field, they'll be like really buddy with males, and like they would put some women down, you know, like that is a thing. That is a thing. Yeah. Some women are mean, but just live life fair, be nice, and you'll be happy.
Like, have you yourself experienced, we're like kind of switching like tones here now, but have you yourself kind of like experienced any kind of like negative, you know, negative experience? Have you had any negative experiences being a woman in STEM? Or have you ever felt like the disparity of, you know, being a woman versus like being a man in STEM?
I don't.
And it's okay if you haven't.
Yeah, like I live all of my life on Guam. I've done most of my research on Guam, and I've never really felt that, you know.
I'm glad. I'm so glad.
I'm very, very fortunate. I think it's like this. On Guam, we want to continue to grow diversity, and I don't think I'm just very fortunate to not have really experienced that. And if I did, I don't know. I think it wasn't because of me as a woman. I think it was just because they were an, you know, like the person's just an in the first place. My experience as a woman has been great. I think most of the experience that I felt was the culture shock. Just that you don't really see people of color, especially down at the Marine Lab. We're growing, or we're trying to have more locals join the Marine Lab, but when you go down there, it's primarily white, you know, or like people from the other places, because we don't have enough numbers. We don't have enough, like, let's just say me, if I get my my PhD, then maybe I hope in the next like 10 years, the Marine Lab will have more color down there. But because it was so little in the first place, it's kind of hard.
So like, why do you think that is though?
Why do I think that is? I think there's a lot of reasons.
Lack of interest, like.
I think this is like a really big question, because like, for example, with my grant, the purpose is to kind of recruit people from off island, or like, you know, also maintain is very important. But, you know, to recruit people off island, especially my peers, asking them, hey, like, do you want to do this program? It's going to pay you a really competitive salary, and you just have to come back home and want to stay home and be with the host agency, whether that's EPA, DAR, DOAG, anyone, right? But they just don't want to come back home. Yeah. You know, and because it's a small island, there's a lot of conveniences out in the States, and it's just there's like, you can blame it on so many things, but I think the real one would be like to bring people back home, you know, to make it more enticing to them, you know, have a competitive pay, because I just looked up online how much a house is just over there. It's the dilapidated house over there in Agana Heights. Yeah. How the roof is, you could, in the picture, it's literally falling, and it's $600,000.
Yeah, $600K minimum.
No, do you know how much you need to make in order to get a mortgage for $600,000?
I will never ever buy a house in my whole life. 200
grand. You need to make 200 grand in order to get a mortgage for 600. See, and that's why it's just like, this is a bigger issue. It really is. I'm so sorry.
But that's like kind of like the whole point, right? Yeah. Is like thinking about like like the lack of, you know, our people in
Yeah.
that field, it points to an even bigger problem. And that's rooted like so deeply within like the system of like colonialism, of capitalism. And, you know, that's like,
And I think as well, it's kind of hard. I haven't yet experienced an institution outside of Guam, but I don't know how it is out there. So I don't know
Yeah.
how like
Yeah.
our people are doing out there in terms of going through their challenges. Like, let's go say they had an advisor who was so was like, "You're my diversity hire here," you know, and they're
Yeah.
just a real advisor. But then I guess like the bigger question would, or not question, it's just like, I don't know. It's just, this is hard. It's hard. It really
it's
is
tough.
hard. I'm sorry.
Even for girlies in STEM.
Girlies in STEM, but those girlies who are like so good at it, like for example, Lonnie Sablon, she's doing fisheries. She's such a bad Lonnie. I literally just hiked with her this morning. She's such a bad. Like she really had the motivation to really finish within 2 years, and now her thesis is what she's doing as a job. And another one, I want to really point out this one, Anella Duenas. She is a bad Saipan. Anella, you're so bad. I love her so much because once she came to Guam, she just did all the research. She really took advantage of everything. And I think that's really important. When you're in STEM, you have to realize that all these grants are looking for you. Like, you know, like if you look at, if you apply to stuff, like a lot of it's like minorities, women, there are like so many scholarships for women. We just need to take advantage of it, you know? Like, and I think a lot of the times what stops women from applying to these things or like pursuing this is that they're afraid to fail. And to fail is it's so needed. You need to fail in life.
One of my like pet peeves is that women are expected in any field to be so apologetic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my God, like I'm so sorry I made a mistake on this. But if a man had made that same exact mistake, like first of all, like he wouldn't apologize, and second of all, he probably will not be given such a hard time about it.
Yeah.
Compared to like being a woman.
Yeah, like, you know, I think that most will be like, oh, my bad, or oh, you know, you'll fix it, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, I think that's what, don't be apologetic. Don't do it.
Never apologize for anything
unless
you did something wrong.
Like, be fair, be nice. That's all you have to do in life.
You have to understand your value in this world.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And you have to understand that, you know, as women, you know, you're a woman in STEM, I studied social science, like every field that we're in, we're always going to be like breaking into it. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
And I don't even know where that came from. Like, I don't even know if that's like, because, you know, on Guam, we kind of like say sorry all the time too.
Yeah.
So like, it's just a cultural thing. But like, you know, when you see it, when you're out there, you don't really see that, I guess. Like, and I have to kind of learn for it myself. Like, I can't keep saying sorry.
It is very hard to unlearn.
Yeah.
I don't know like what shared trauma all women have that stems from, but like I too, like I'm saying like, oh, don't apologize, but I will be the first one to be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
No. Look, how many times can we have a counter? How many times I said sorry? I don't even know. Now I have to not say sorry. Okay.
But it's hard.
It really is hard.
Yeah.
But I think that's the one. And if you did make a mistake, like whether like within your STEM journey, you did make a mistake, just don't apologize for it. Like, you know, like if it's like a moral mistake, apologize. But then if it was just a mistake, whether you labeled something wrong, just be like, oh, I'll fix it. Yeah. You know, like it's just like we don't have to keep saying sorry.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Like don't dwell on it. Just like acknowledge that it happened and then be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds so simple. But it's really not though.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to ask you, and this is gonna be like really cheesy, but like, you know, if there's like a young girl who is interested or maybe not interested and just has like no idea what she wants to do, and maybe STEM is one of them, like what advice like would you give them?
Oh man, this is the one I tell all the kids to do this. I'm like, if you're thinking about pre-med, just dabble in something else. Dabble in botany. Dabble in
just a little sprinkle of botany.
No, just do anything. I'm so serious. I wish I dabbled in everything, because now looking back, I wish I went into psychology. Or I wish I went to like anthropology. Yeah. I could have done so much if I wasn't so fixated on how do I say, like, you know, you're comparing yourself to this timeline that everyone has, like this standard timeline of like going, like finishing school in 4 years, and you can do a lot in 4 years, but you want to make sure that you have enough time to say, I like it, I don't like it. This is what, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really wish I explored everything and anything. Like, just take advantage of all opportunities, apply to everything. If you don't get accepted, it's fine. There are so many more. And if you apply the next time to that same one, they'll notice that. Like, we've noticed like students who have applied the second time and we're like, wow, they really want to be in this. Yeah. And it's fine. It's fine. Just apply to everything. Comparison is the thief of joy. I always say that. Comparison.
That was so deep.
That was really deep. Because you can't keep comparing yourself to someone else, because you are living your own life. Like, why am I going to compare myself to like a freaking girl named
Joe?
Yeah. I do know a girl named Joe.
I do too.
But a girl named Joe, when that's her life that she's going to live, and I have to live my own life and figure that. Because my interest is very different from everyone else. So do everything, try everything out. Don't be afraid to fail, because failure is a part of life. You're not going to learn anything from not failing. And yeah, that's all.
I just want to throw this in because we're both like Asian. Yeah. Asian. Yeah, we're both Asian. But we're like, you know, we're in that like Asian girly vibe. And, you know, you're a biologist. When I was growing up, I wanted to be like a writer. Wow. But, you know, like on the thing that you were just saying, there are certain expectations in your Asian family of what you should and should not be. Oh, yeah. Biologist probably is not one of them. No. No. Writer was not one of them. I was a nursing major. You were a pre-med major. And so everybody kind of creates that path for you, that expected path that, you know, you need to go on. But, like, it's really hard to do, and I spent a lot of time, you know, kind of fighting with my inner self about this, but you really have to just create your own path. Yeah,
no, like, really. Like, I'm tired of, my mom can have any expectation. I love my mom. My mom's gonna watch it. She keeps asking. She wants to be here. But, no, like.
Hi, Mom.
What's that called? Yeah, my mom wanted me to be a doctor. I think she thought it was cool, but like, yeah, it seems cool, and I'm just like, but I'm not happy.
But if it's not for you, then like, it's not for you.
Yeah, and I think like at the end of the day, your parents will realize that my kid needs to be happy, and if they're happy, if they're succeeding in what they do, or even if you're not succeeding, you'll find your spark, man. Like, just find that spark, keep doing it, keep doing anything you can do, explore, whatever, honestly. Yeah.
I think they come around. My parents came around. Yes. It felt like decades. Yeah. But eventually they came around.
I think that's the worst advice too. Like, you know, like when I didn't have like the best experience coming out, but they always say time will tell. Just it takes time, and I hated that because I'm a very impatient person. Like, don't worry.
Same. Blah, blah, blah. Is that a queer woman thing?
Gay Pride. Air this on June.
Yes.
June. But no, really, it's like time will tell. Like, it takes time. Just like, it sucks, but they'll come around.
Yeah, you just kind of gotta ride that really harsh wave.
Yeah, no, it's just like there's ebbs and flows in life, man. Just ride the wave, you know.
All right, well, this, first of all, this has been a very fun conversation.
Oh, sick. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
I'm so grateful to get to meet you again. Yes. We have met once before. And one last question for you before you go that we're asking everyone who comes on the show. Who is your favorite woman?
Yeah, so this is cliche, but my favorite woman is my mom. She makes me laugh. She's so hardworking. I think I base a lot of my work ethic from her, especially my dad too. But I love my dad too. But I think my mom's my favorite woman.
Yeah.
She's so great. Like our bond is so nice, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
All right. Well, again, it's February 11th. It is International Day of Women and Girls in Science. Happy International Day of Women and Girls in Science to you. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you for talking to me. You have been such a great guest. And we will see you guys next month. Bye.
Peace.